Welcome and welcome back to the Integrative Nurse Coaches in Action podcast. My name is Nicole Villano. I am your host. And this episode 73, continues on with the excitement, wisdom, and positive energy at the 2024 Integrative Nurse Coach Symposium in Miami, Florida. Now, if you missed episode 72, just check the show notes and go there, listen to it, because it contains all the fun insights and learnings from days 1 and 2. And this episode will continue on from day 2 to day 3 with nurses represented from Alaska to Florida to Massachusetts to California. And the enthusiasm and absolute love for nursing and nurse coaching and each other continues in abundance. So here we go. Oh, wait. Before we get to today's podcast, let's take 3 deep breaths in and out together. 1, 2, 3. Now we're ready. So I was thinking about all of you listening who really wanted to come to the conference and you couldn't get here. We miss you so much. And I know it's tough to get to these things. A lot of different barriers can keep us back, and we need to do a lot of planning, etc., etc. I just want to let you know that you are really missed. And I hope that some of this enthusiasm and inspiration just really connects to you and your heart. And I hope you feel like you are with us, because really and truly you are with us. You're in each of our cells, and we're so thankful that you're part of this amazing community. So as I'm reflecting on the past couple days, we have had a lot of really cool presentations, starting with an opening with Karen Avino, and then we had this coolest sound healing opening ceremony with Chelsea McGee. Then we heard speakers Shirley Gordon and Nancy France speak on the power of nurse coaching, transforming the system from illness cure to healing care. Then we had Holly Carpenter lead us and facilitate nurse well-being, hope, help, and healthy nurse, healthy nation. Then we listened to Marie Etienne promoting a culture of respect and inclusivity, do's and don'ts when caring for underserved populations. And then we got to experience group healing circles. And then we finished off that day 1 with happy hour and a really fun networking reception. On day 2, we started with a beautiful awareness practice. Then we heard Bridget Sager talk on functional nutrition approach to healing and with the elimination diet. Then we heard from Christina Cowgill, the neuro-goal connection, rewiring success with mindset, hypnosis, and brain circuits. After an amazing lunch, we heard from Lindsay Johnson speaking on trauma awareness for nurse coaches. We heard from Love Hawkins and Judy Ratliff on medical cannabis and the role of the nurse. Then we had a scrumptious yoga for nurses with Lisa Osler, and we did that outside on the patio overlooking the water. Oh. Then we finished off the day with an amazing gratitude dinner, which was a celebration of the amazing nurse excellence within the room. On day 3, we heard from Deborah McElligott and Karen Avino speak on healing communities and organizations. And of course, we started it all off with an awareness practice. Then we heard from Katie Harris, who shared the blueprint for success, launching your private practice coaching business. And then we finished off the day hearing from Karen Avino and Carly Mertz speaking to the future directions in integrative nurse coaching. And then, of course, a beautiful closing ceremony and sound healing with Chelsea McGee. It was an amazing 3 days, and I know you hear all the excitement and wisdom of all of our amazing guests on the podcast, and I hope you can feel how much energy Nurse Coach is bringing to the universe. It will continue, and so it is. We just had this most amazing hypnosis experience with Christy Cowgill, who did an incredible presentation about nurse coaching and hypnosis. And I am sitting with
Linda Harms from St. Paul, Minnesota.
And we just shared this scrumptious lunch, and we were chit-chatting and just enjoying each other's company. And then I became curious. I wanted to know what happened for you during the hypnosis portion and experience.
Well, it was quite powerful, and I was amazed. Like when she described the mist around us, I actually could feel. I could actually feel like a mist around me. And then she described it as, well, I'm actually not sure, but what my mind did was kind of it holding me and being supportive and safe. And it was lovely. And I really appreciated that practice. It felt like what we've been doing kind of taken to another level. And it was lovely.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your experience. Do you recall the 3 things that you saw at the end?
Well, when she said 3 years forward, the first thing I thought of is that my youngest would be a senior in high school. And what I saw was him just thriving and doing great in school. And then the second thing is we've had a bathroom under construction for a long time. And when one of the things was our home, the bathroom was finished. And it was so wonderful to have the second bathroom finished. And the third thing was about my work. And I still couldn't see specifics, but I just had a feeling that my nurse coaching, wherever it took me, was thriving and well, and I couldn't see specifics, and but I just had a really wonderful feeling about it, a very peaceful, supported, positive. Can you be energetic and peaceful at the same time? I think it felt both. I felt, and it was great. And as I'm saying this into the microphone, I'm tearing up again. It was a lovely experience, and the partner I was with, she had a phenomenal description of her life in 3 years, and it was just so great to say to her, "Thank you. You have a wonderful life." It just, I could feel her life is going to be wonderful. My life is going to be wonderful. Yeah.
And so it is. So here we are at another break, and it's my favorite time of the day because I get to talk to amazing nurses and nurse coaches. And right now I am speaking with...
I'm Desiree Gallamore, and I'm from Roseville, California.
Desiree, tell me, so far throughout this day, we've heard some really amazing speakers and learned a lot, both to use with our clients, our patients, our communities, and also to use for ourselves and our own personal learning. So I'm curious what you have found to be the most impactful learning you've had for yourself today.
I think the most impactful moment was the hypnosis session. I have never done hypnosis, and first off, let me go back a little bit. The energy in this room is incredible. There's like powerhouse nurses in here that all have this vision to like make healthcare better. And so I think that I was very open to this hypnosis session because I'm just in this like room full of these powerful people. So I arrived at it, and for the first time when I do meditation, my brain is very much like swiping thoughts away from my that are coming in as I'm trying to quiet my mind. But when she was doing hypnosis, I was just there agreeing and listening to everything she said. And what came forward to me was a really clear vision of where I want to be. And it's a vision that I already knew, but when she brought it to me, it was a vision without all of the self-doubt and the fog and the outside chatter. And my vision was very clear and exactly how I wanted it. And so it goes back to like everything we learn in nurse coaching is that everyone has the answers inside. We just need these tools to find our answers.
So beautifully said. I have to ask, what came up for you that you saw as your vision?
First, so like as she explained, the fog was pulling back. First, I'm probably going to cry. Appeared my daughter. She's 6 now, and I thought in 3 years she'll be 9. And then to the left of her was my son, and in 3 years he'll be 6. And then to the right of them was my husband, and they were standing in front of a beautiful home that was on a piece of property. And then I turned around and looked at myself, and I was centered, grounded, and a nurse coach who was present for my family and present for myself and healthy. And it was like I had this balance in life, and everything that was like at our core of family values and love and trying to be as present as a family as possible was there. And everyone was just there in this whole picture. It was so clear and so like, I can do this. And I feel self-doubt all the time because I think it's just normal in our world. And it was just very clear that I can achieve everything right there. So.
So now I am with
Melanie Watson from Hillsborough, North Carolina.
Thank you for being with us, Melanie. So as you evaluate and look back to all of the events of today, and maybe even yesterday, what's one thing that's really standing out for you as being impactful in moving you forward in your nurse coaching career?
That is a great question. Something that actually came up for me after this last presentation, just on our somatic work and feeling things in our body, is that I've learned a lot through the functional medicine course for nurses that our environment impacts a lot of our health and well-being. So the things we eat, our stress, toxins we're exposed to, and there was a big focus on things our bodies are exposed to from the outside world. And what was really neat today was to hear about taking things like irritable bowel syndrome, where we can focus on a lot of different things. It might be something physical like what we're choosing to eat. It might be somatic work. So there's a lot of ways. It's not just learning the one right way to help our clients and educate them on how to deal with a particular condition. There's a lot of different options, and what might speak to one client might speak differently to another client. So I think it's just a broadening scope of all of the tools that we can use as nurse coaches to help our clients.
So not one size fits all, and we continue to evolve and learn, and things may connect with us as individuals, and then those things may then connect with our clients.
Yeah, and I think really knowing that we will all always be learning. There's the really cool thing about coming here is just seeing all of the different gifts everybody has. Everybody has a different interest and strength, and I think that's what makes nursing so amazing. If we were all the same and all wanted to practice and know things in the same way, that would be a little bit boring. So I think we're really just fascinating people to be around.
So we just completed some amazing education surrounding trauma response, how we can support people with trauma, the realization that we may have experienced trauma ourselves. And so here I am sitting with
Sheila Abar from Eagle River, Alaska.
Sheila, what has been most impactful for you in relation to anything that you've learned today?
Oh, gosh, it's really hard. I guess the one thing that's impacted me most here is just to see all these incredible nurses that are looking to grow the nurse coaching, and that they all come from different areas of passion and compassion. And so there's something for everybody here, and also that component of the caring for themselves. So putting that all together, so looking at this in the bigger picture rather than just one little thing. But to me, to see this and being an older person at a different place in my life, to see all the young people and this growing just makes me really excited for where the nurse coaching profession is going to go.
Ah, so wonderful. And you said you're from Alaska, so you traveled all the way from Alaska to Miami to be here. Why did you come?
Because when I started doing this, which was the coaching part was back in 2016, and this is where I get filled up. This is where my battery gets recharged, being around other people, hearing new ideas, and also the sunshine was quite alluring.
So we are all in Zen mode. The sun is starting to go down. We just completed a beautiful yoga session that was just unwinding and loosening and just relaxing our whole bodies and beings after all this purposeful learning today. Yeah. And so now I'm with...
This is Maggie Gardner from Seattle, Washington.
And so we are just enjoying this Zen mode after the yoga class. So just contemplating your day so far. Just what things are sticking out for you or creating that just more contemplation for you?
Oh my gosh, like expansion is the word that comes to mind. All the things that we could do as nurse coaches and our full potential is just in my face right now. Just seeing all these amazing credentials and all these, incredible academic, RNs and where we could go, all the places we could go.
So what do you envision as where we could go?
It's a great question. I feel like the world is our oyster. We just have to prove to the world what we have to offer, and we're doing that with our task force, doing all the evidence-based work and the research, and it's so important. What can we do? I mean, Chief Wellness Officer sounds pretty great. Yeah, so I'm going to set my sights on that.
Ooh, that sounds exciting. And what would you think of one of your main priorities as a Chief Wellness Officer?
Man, nurses are having a hard time. I talk to a lot of nurses as an admissions counselor through INCA, and they are really burnt out. And they're ready to leave the system. And I feel like INCA offers them a saving grace to stay as a nurse, because you really can have it all. I would love to support the nurses. Yeah, I'd love to reduce the burnout that we're seeing, nationwide.
Sounds wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
We are sitting at an amazing gratitude celebratory dinner after day 2 of learning so many incredible things. And I am sitting beside
Love Hawkins from Destin, Florida.
And Love and Judy Ratliff did the most amazing presentation on cannabis and just really helping us see the possibilities of cannabis and so many incredible things. And so now I'm not going to ask Love anything about cannabis. Instead, I'm going to ask her what has been a highlight of her day today.
Oh, wow. So my highlight of the day probably was, speaking about cannabis, for sure, definitely, and letting nurses know their place in that space and how we can help support our patients to be safe in their use.
When you were on stage speaking, I was in just gratitude, because you're obviously passionate about this topic. It's a controversial topic, and yet you're having this bravery and vulnerability in one to stand up and voice your concern, your love, your acknowledgement of nurses maybe not understanding or knowing this information. And here you are standing up and sharing your voice. And so how does that feel to do that?
It feels good because it's what my heart desires, for nurses to know our place in assisting our patients and helping keep them safe. That's what we took the oath to do, to keep our patients safe, to do all that we can to keep them safe, and making sure that they know the things to make that happen, especially when it comes to when they're taking other medications that coincide with them taking cannabis. We want to make sure that they're doing that safely, spacing that around, no matter what our preferences are or thoughts about it. You know, like if you still hold certain biases against it, to put those biases to the side for the betterment of those patients. Yes, for sure.
Yeah, and I was surprised because there was a journal article that you posted in the presentation which contains information that nurses are expected to know, and yet when you ask the question, how many of you have read this article, there were only a handful of people that raised their hands.
Exactly. I don't know how many. There's at least 100 people here. I think maybe 4 raised their hand that they knew about that document. It's a 61-page document that was released in 2018 about what every nurse should know in regards to medical cannabis. And so that message needs to be out. You know, we need to know this information. So it's just very important. I'm very passionate about that. I just always want to keep the patients safe.
Yeah, and I know that all of the people in the room want to keep their patients safe, and it just has not been privy, or we've not been privy potentially to this information. So I appreciated that you said, hey, here's the link in the resources, and I downloaded all of that. So I'll be on the lookout. And hey, maybe let's put this in the show notes too, so that we have that available for nurses to click on and to understand more. And if nothing else, having the conversations.
Exactly. And I have tremendous gratitude in being able to witness the benefits that the medical cannabis has provided for a lot of my clients. So seeing that transformation and seeing them smile again, seeing them feel good again, I mean, that they found something that can happen, where like even it has helped them with like their levels of depression, you know, and lifting their spirits and things like that. And they're doing things that they haven't done in years and things of that nature. So it just feels good to make a positive impact and just assisting in lifting humanity, honestly. Because, I mean, everyone's always going through something. I mean, no one's immune to going through life's challenges. So in any way that I can assist in easing suffering, that's where I'm at. That's what I want to do.
And so it is.
So it is. Thank you very much.
And now, a word from our sponsor. The Integrative Nurse Coach Academy offers nurses innovative approaches to re-energize and expand your nursing practice with new skills and tools that focus on lifestyle health and well-being. As an integrative nurse coach, you will confidently promote wellness and resiliency by guiding your clients, patients, and communities to deepen their connections to inner healing resources and expand their capacities to make meaningful choices for healthy lifestyle change. Plus, you'll learn critical self-care tools to actively take care of your own health and well-being on the journey. Join the global Integrative Nurse Coach Academy community and rediscover your passion for nursing in the online Integrative Nurse Coach Certificate Program. Learn more about our programs at INurseCoach.com, and when you register for the Integrative Nurse Coach Certificate Program, be sure to use the code ACTION to get $100 off the Part 1 and 2 bundle. Now, back to the podcast. So we have just experienced the most beautiful gratitude dinner. Excellent food, beautiful conversations, fun conversations, lively conversations, and also very in-depth and loving conversations with each other, just getting to know each other and sharing special time together. So right now, I am with
Dawn Hawthorne from Orlando, Florida.
and I'm also with
Susan Cacciola from Sparta, New Jersey.
And we were just talking about the last 2 days, about what we've enjoyed, and just sharing some of the gratitude that we are feeling because of this time together. So share with our listeners just one thing that you're really grateful for at this moment.
I am grateful for the connection that I felt with people that I didn't know, and yet when we came together, the energy was amazing, and people just opened their hearts and were just shown kindness and shared love, and I was just so appreciative of that.
I'm just breathing that in for a moment. What do you think about this conference?
I think it was a great way for nurses to think outside the box and embrace a specialty like holistic nursing or integrative nurse life coaching, and take their skills and embrace Eastern and Western healthcare practices and bring it forward into modern life, and teach people tools for their toolbox, and give nurses an opportunity to become entrepreneurs.
Woo! Yes!
You asked the... I totally agree with that. Right question. I really felt the energy of the room. We had great speakers. We just had a fun time together where people, I think, we co-created relationships. We appreciated each other. We learned new words. It was probably one of the best nursing conferences I've ever been to. Totally wonderful.
Double woo-woo!
I'm totally in agreement, and it was the best nursing conference ever, and I've been a nurse for 43 years. So, it's about people who really have such wonderful ideas and ways of working with others that give them ways to ground and to center and to deal with stress and to deal with life. And so you can't get better than that in our modern world.
Thank you both for joining and sharing your thoughts on the Integrative Nurse Coach Symposium. We're so thankful that you are here and sharing your beautiful energy with all of us.
And we'll be back next year.
Absolutely, absolutely.
We're already committed to coming back next year, and we hope others will join us.
Yes.
And taking more of the courses offered.
Yes.
Oh, yes. And some of the specialty courses, and just diving into things that really interest us and exposing ourselves to more as we go.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So here I am on a beautiful, quiet, sun-rising day. I'm overlooking the water. There's this very unique plant that has beautiful flowers. And I am reflecting about the last few days. These days have been filled with love. So many beautiful nurses and supportive people in the room, learning and laughing and connecting and sharing stories of hope and healing, learning new things, sharing knowledge and experiences to support. And I feel uplifted. I also recognize how much effort something like this takes. All of the hours of planning and dreaming, and then finally it comes to fruition. So I really appreciate all of the people who have touched a piece of these past few days to really open up the possibilities of becoming and well becoming. Oh, and a fish just jumped. And so it is. And so we continue our journeys, and we'll all go our separate ways, and yet we'll all still be connected. There's always some ways in which we can touch each other's lives and reach out and support and love and share compassion and listen and just be with from afar as well. So thank you so much for being along this journey with us, listening to our stories, things that touched our heart, things that we've been learning. And if you're ever considering, and I know you might be considering, so if you're considering being a part of this amazing group of nurses, just listen to your heart. Your heart knows. You know. And join us. And if you are listening and you are already part of us, thank you so much for being here, for impacting my life, and for impacting all of the lives that you touch on a daily basis. You are so loved. So here we are on the morning of our last day. And we have experienced and met and learned so many things, people, ideas and concepts. And so here I am sitting with
Judy Ratliff, Afton, Minnesota. I'm in Afton.
And just take a moment to reflect over the past few days. And what is coming up for you as being one of the most impactful things from the past few days?
I think the energy here, the energy of people who are somewhat like-minded, but so creative and in their own ways, coming together to want to make change and are excited and are passionate about what they're doing. It's been such a fabulous vibe. All the days of this conference and being able to meet people, I think that's been one of the most impactful.
Yeah, I totally agree. There's so many fun people here, brilliant minds. The energy is positive, uplifting, supportive.
Yeah, it's been great.
Thank you so much for doing all of your work in preparation for all of this event as well.
Absolutely. It's been fun. Thanks, Nicole.
So here we are at breakfast, enjoying a very yummy avocado toast and some fruit and some fresh foods with all of our amazing colleagues. It's a little quiet in here because we're some of the first people that are arriving this morning, and today's our last day. And that's good, and that's also a little sad because we've had an amazing few days. And here I am with
Justina Green.
And where are you from?
Sacramento, California.
Love Sacramento. So, in contemplating the past few days, what is one or two things that have been very impactful for you?
That's a hard question to answer because there's so many tidbits. I think the last couple of days, the opportunity for connecting with others. I've felt like I was on an island at times in the last year and a half on this journey with nurse coaching. And to be reminded that I'm absolutely not on an island and there are connections available. We just have to show up and be open to new people, new ideas, and new ways of doing things. There was talk on the first day about the word voyage versus journey. And just the terminology shift, I think, with some of the lingo or language that we kind of get stuck in without really understanding, like, what do we mean by that? So I really liked just the time to kind of sit back and think about things differently, even though we're talking about the same sorts of things throughout our life. So I like the word voyage. To me, that involves adventure and a little bit of risk, and which resonates because throughout this nurse coach journey for me, there's fear. There's always fear, but it's the fear and do it anyway, turning it into courage. And so a voyage, to me, kind of embraces that part too. where you're fearful, but you're doing it anyway. And yes, there's risk involved because it wouldn't be fun otherwise, and it wouldn't be meaningful.
I love this. And I'm connected to a lot of the things that you just said, but the one thing about feeling like you're being, or you're living on your own island, because we do feel isolated sometimes if we're all over the place. I mean, we're all over different states, different cities, and coming back to these kinds of conferences is important for us in our refilling our cup and supporting and feeling connected again. And the important thing that you said, like, we can reach out, we can ask each other and feel a great sense of that anybody would say, yeah, of course, let's connect.
Right, exactly. I find it very interesting that I came all this way to find somebody from my same county that we.
Oh my gosh!
Right away, and so there's just these sweet moments, these glimmers that are confirmation that things are aligned. I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, and the universe knows.
And now we're just chit-chatting, and that's one of my favorite times of the day. And so right now I'm sitting with
Rita Linnenkamp from Maryland.
Welcome, and also sad because today's our last day. And we've experienced a lot together and listened to so many amazing presenters, and then had all of this incredible social time as well to connect and just love on each other and share important time together. And I'm curious, what has been most impactful for you over these last few days?
Everything has been impactful. I've never been to a conference that I wanted to go to every single session. And the people that I've met has been incredible. But yesterday I did the yoga class. I've never really done yoga. I've always thought I needed to do cardio. And it was a phenomenal experience. I felt like I reconnected with my body in a different way. And I woke up this morning feeling great. So I'm so glad that I decided when I came that I was going to explore everything the conference had to offer. And I'm so glad that I did.
I'm so glad you did too. And what a beautiful way to reconnect. Like you said, reconnecting with your body, and I'm sure mind, soul, everything is reconnected.
Yes, definitely. Yes, it was a great experience.
So here I am sitting with
Brittany Jarvis from Athens, Ohio.
And Brittany, I'm curious to know, what are you taking away with you when you go back home?
It's a perfect question. I actually was just thinking about that. I think what I love about this conference is that I used to feel like I was a creative person, and you kind of get lost in the rules and regulation of nursing, and I feel like this allows me to think of nursing as the art in a creative way that I hadn't thought of in a while. So I was glad to just be around so many people with unique ideas and ways to use these tools in our own practice and for our personal selves or professionally. So for me, that's what I'm taking back, is like an art, a creativeness around nursing that I have been refreshed for.
And I understand that you had a series of events that allowed you to get here. Would you mind telling us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I kind of have been on my own personal health journey. A lot of it was around functional medicine. So I was looking to maybe advance take some nursing classes around that. Simultaneously, my certificate for tobacco cessation is expiring. So I was kind of looking for a different type of certification. And looking up some functional health classes, landed on this conference, and the rest was history. The timing worked out. My work was able to help pay for my traveling here, so it all just kind of came together, and I've met great people along the way that's helped really tie it all together. I think this is where I was supposed to be.
I love that. It's just when things become so easy, then you feel like you're in the right place.
For sure, yes.
So here we are in a high-energy breakfast scenario, and I feel like the vibe here is so loving and energetic, and people are still connecting on day 3. And it's also sad, in a way, because it is day 3, and that's our last day. So right now I am sitting with
Dina Alberti from Long Island, New York.
And
Christine Eaches from Huntington, New York, on Long Island as well.
I'm curious to know what have been some of the most impactful people, events, learnings, experiences, any of those things from the past few days.
I've really enjoyed coming together as a group with my sister nurse coaches. So that's first and foremost, the connection. And the speakers have been just so dynamic. And the takeaways is I learned about hypnosis, which I thought I was really naive to. I really didn't know the place for nurses. And that expanded my not only my mind, but my heart to say this is something I can incorporate in my practice. And the role of registered nurses for the future, I find just so exciting. We have so many tools that we can learn, the functional medicine that can add to my skill of being a nurse coach and a nurse for 34 years. It's limitless what we can do.
Ah, so good. I agree. We are limitless. Yeah.
Yeah, Dina's right. I think we, a lot of times being holistic nurses and nurse coaches, we may feel alone sometimes, depending on where we're working or where we're living. And to come here and to be with your tribe is really soul affirming. It gives you that energy that you need to keep going. And what I found interesting at the conference this year is a lot of people have not participated in the nurse coaching program yet. So just to see a conference advertised and to have them drawn to it, it's just like the waves of energy are going out. And then we actually had the privilege of meeting a lovely lady from New Hampshire that has signed up to take nurse coaching. Woo! And she's so excited about it, just really from the feeling of being with like-minded people, which is really the underlying current which most of us, I think, have.
Yes, and both of you have been in the nurse coaching world for many years. And so what are you seeing as some of the biggest shifts that from the beginning, and then to today?
So I was blessed with being in the cohort 20 and with Barbie Dossi and Susan Luck. So to see their legacy, especially Susan's, and knowing Barbie couldn't be here with us physically, but watching her video and seeing her beautiful face and looking around and seeing that ripple effect that she spoke about is truly very much alive. And to know that their incredible work that they gave us, not only to preserve ourselves, to preserve each other in this environment, and then to go out and heal local to global, is just been full circle.
I see and have felt Susan from heaven watching us the whole time, right? We are in her backyard. We're totally in her backyard. And she has been like shining her light on all of us and just being with us. And then, of course, listening to Barbie's video yesterday, I was, the first day, I was like, oh my gosh. It felt like she was like right in the room with us. Anyways, her energy and love and oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, because I was probably one of the beginning ones in cohort 8. And we were kind of make tracks trying to see where it goes. But by the time it got to Dina's cohort, they were able to, her organization got a grant to put 2 cohorts through, and they're using it for chronic disease as sort of a touch-in base. And I see that over the last 5 years that even though the healthcare system views wellness, it really wasn't at the forefront, and it is coming that way, that they are hiring coaches. Now we know they should be nurse coaches, but they're hiring coaches to check in with people with chronic diseases to help them stay on their healthcare track, which is what coaching does. So it has come a long way. We still have a long way to go, But we are making in-tracks, and there are a lot more people with private practice, which we did not see when we started this. It was kind of hard. And now that we've got CPT codes, even better.
Even better. The future is very bright.
So now my role in academia, I've taken nurse coaching in my role as faculty. And it's been priceless working with students and in setting their goals, even in advisement, and using the nurse coaching skills to plan their future, and even assessing where they are now, and planting those seeds, and having a dream of having this in the curriculum, so all nurses, as they start their practice, can be nurse coaches. So that's, for me, is a vision and a dream. Yeah.
Kind of makes sense that it should be a foundational program. Holistic nursing, nurse coaching, that where are you going to start with your self-care and your empowerment, and how to help empower others should be the basis of all.
Absolutely. And if all of nurses right from the beginning had this information instead of waiting, like I think of myself, it took me 20 years to find nurse coaching. And of course it had to be, of course we were blessed because Barbie, Susie, and Bonnie, they all thought of this and wanted to ensure that nurses were at the table. But it has impacted my life and changed and shaped my career going forward and just made me a better human in general, so that I can show up better for all those people that I love, my patients included, and me. Showing up for me has been one of the most impactful things for me. So here we are on day 3, and we have experienced so many positive things over the past 3 days, and looking forward to whatever we experience today. So right now, I am sitting with
Ronnie Kanka in Miami, Florida.
And Ronnie, you have put a lot of time and energy and love and passion and all amazing good things into this event and into INCA in general. So I'm just curious, what's on your heart and mind that you'd like to share with all of us?
I guess first, I'm very relieved that everything went smoothly, more smoothly than I anticipated. I was pretty nervous leading up to this, big event, first time having a big event, and just very thankful that everyone seems to be pretty ecstatic about the event and, kind of getting excited now to start planning the next one.
Yeah. So tell me what's one highlight that you've experienced over the past couple of days?
I think one of my favorite parts is the amount of non-nurse coaches that are here that are now inspired to become nurse coaches from being in our arena and just feeling the energy here. It's incredible.
It is incredible. I've enjoyed that too. Just nurses being and feeling inspired and feeling supported and wanting to be part of our community. It just uplifts everyone.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's palpable. You can feel it.
Yeah. I've not heard anything else except that. So thank you for all of your work in leading up to this and your continued work going into the future. And yes, let's plan the next one.
Yep. Let's see. Got a lot of planning going into it. I think I need a week off probably first, but we'll start after that.
We'll give you a week, and then that's about it. Well, amazing nurses. This is the end of the symposium for me because I have to jump on a plane and get home. And so I'm missing the end of day 3. And I just wanted to say I'm really bummed about that. And I'm also completely filled up from all of the amazing learning, the wisdom, the connections, the energy, the positiveness, the feeling like we were queens and kings, the way that we were cared for here at the Integrative Nurse Coach Symposium in 2024. And we look forward to setting up another conference for next year, maybe. Who knows? If you have any ideas, please send them our way. I'll talk to you soon.